Hello and welcome to another Game Nexus Mame review. Today we're going to be looking at a game called Guwnage, which is actually spelled G-U-W-A-N-G-E. This game was released in 1999. It was actually designed by Cave and distributed by Atlas. It was on the Cave first generation hardware. And this is a vertical shooter game, as you can see here. The one thing I have to say right away about this game is I love the art style. Everything about this game reeks of style. It's all very Japanese in its way, and it's just very artistic looking in general. You get to choose from a number of characters who all have their own like special shooting and stuff, just like in a lot of the games like this. And everything just has this traditional Japanese flair to it that really just adds to the whole experience. And as you can see from my character here, you're just like a regular person, more or less. You're not like some sort of ship or anything. And you get all kinds of different kinds of shooting as you get more power. And there's different kinds of power-ups that you can get, just like a lot of these shooting games you would play. Okay, take care of all these weird things. There's a lot of activity on the screen, just like you'd expect, and a lot of actual different kinds of enemies that are shooting all these little blue arrow points at you. And what you see me doing most often here is when a lot of shots are on the screen is I'm using one of the bomb shots in this game, which actually for a little while protect you against whatever's getting thrown at you, so that's why I often do that when a lot of stuff is coming toward me that I can't dodge. So that really does help quite a bit. This is one of the boss battles here. The character in the back there, if you see her, she's throwing all the blue projectiles at me. She's the actual boss, whereas these other ones I think are more or less just her little minions. I don't know if they actually... It looks like actually they do have a little bit of effect on the overall health. Actually, it sounds like it's a male character, not a female character, but he just looks kind of female because of the robes he's wearing. And that's one thing that always bothered me about a lot of these boss fights. They'll throw this like fancy grid of bullets at you, and it's just so hard to avoid them, but, you know, it's possible in most occasions if you're really good at these games, which I admittedly say I am not. I'm not the best shoot-'em-up player, but I get by in most of these games unless they're really super hardcore, which I've seen my share of those in my day, where there's so many bullets on the screen that unless you're watching everything, you're not going to be able to dodge them. And there's another one of those bomb shots I was telling you about where you actually are protected for a short amount of time. And this was another way that you could attack with this, I don't even know what you'd call it. It's just this projectile that comes out of you and allows you to kill everything with it, basically. The only problem in some cases is when stuff got too close to you, and the weapon was not in the right area, you wouldn't actually be able to hit certain enemies that were too close to you. Let's take care of these guys here. And that's another thing you're going to notice in a lot of these games. There are a lot of enemies on the ground, in the air, and even in the water in some cases. Those weird things that kind of look like bull's heads or rags or whatever they are, they're like those red things. They're your power-ups. The more of those you collect, the more power your shots will actually have. And of course you gotta have your giant mutant spiders. Those are kind of a staple of a lot of these sci-fi type games, because you always had your giant spiders, your giant rats, your giant bats. And here comes our millipede. It's our next boss battle here. And just as I was mentioning earlier, this is one of those many things that there's bullets all over the freaking screen here, and it's really hard to avoid them. And these bomb shots really do help, because they take care of all the bullets that are on the screen. Okay, try to stay out of these. Oh, that wasn't possible in that case. I was going to try to stay out of the way of the bullets, but didn't quite make it. It even does a twirly effect where it throws rings at you. That's fun. And as you just noticed there, when that shot, as I was calling it earlier, the bomb shot's going on, it actually just makes the enemy's bullets disappear and dissolve into it. When I first started playing this game, I was thinking to myself, this game is a lot like a game I played before, but like with more of a feudal, traditional Japan type setting instead of being a more modern setting. It's a lot like that game Guwange, which was a game that I had reviewed a while ago. But surprisingly enough, the soundtrack for this game, as I was calling it earlier, Guwnage, it actually has tracks from Guwange on it. So it's kind of a split soundtrack between the two games. So probably the developers of these games actually had the same thing in mind that I did. So they just paired them together because they both really had similar type styles of music. And they really are different games, which tend to get a bit more away from you're in a ship and you're shooting all the other ships and tanks. You have all these different like demon-like enemies and even a lot of human enemies like mounted on horses like you see here. And it just really makes the whole shoot-'em-up genre feel a little bit more fresh. It just doesn't feel like you're shooting at the same generic enemies like you do in so many of these shoot-'em-up games. And really, it's just a breath of fresh air to the whole genre. I might have said already, but it's just definitely more than needed in this case. And yeah, you see all the different kinds of enemies, like little carts here with these guys shooting you, and there are more of those power-ups I was mentioning earlier. Let's take care of all these guys. There's even these little guys that are popping out of the pots and they're throwing fire at me. And it looks like one of them actually took my life there. Oh, and of course we gotta have the giant mutant cat spider. At least I thought I saw a giant mutant cat spider. That wasn't too nice. Yep, it's a giant mutant cat spider. Just in case you thought you saw everything, it's the giant mutant cat spider. Which, it doesn't sound too happy that I'm shooting it. Although then again, if you were a giant mutant cat spider and some weird girl walked up and started shooting you, would you be happy? I know I wouldn't be. But basically, this is Guwnage. Very artistically appealing game, definitely. This game just really oozes style. There's no two ways around that. The game just looks beautiful. It is honestly a work of art when it comes to arcade games. It's even fun to play, and I'd recommend it to any shoot-'em-up fans, and any shoot-'em-up fans who are just tired of the same old tanks and the same old characters coming at you. This has been another Game Nexus Mame review, and I shall see you later.